So we just got the biggest breaking news story that we've received since what happened to Joy Taylor. And trust me when I say you are not ready for how deep this rabbit hole goes. Shannon Sharpe just got fired by ESPN. He was straight up terminated. And before you click off thinking you know this story, let me tell you something. There's audio recordings that we need to go back into. There's text messages that'll blow your mind and a pattern of behavior that goes back years that nobody's talking about. This man went from catching touchdowns to cashing checks, and he was winning big time until April of 2025, where everything changed forever.
What's good, peeps? It's your boy JP back at it again with another reaction video, and today we are reacting to Microphone. Shout out to Microphone, never heard of him. We about to tap in. Today's video is the end of Shannon Sharpe. So if you don't know, Shannon Sharpe been in a lot of controversy. He retired an OF model at 50-some years old. Who would have thought? Oh well, you know, another Wayne bites the dust. Anyway, with that being said, before we get into the video, make sure you hit the like and subscribe button. Join the Prosper Gang. There's a whole lot of prosperity going on around this mug. We keeping it very PG, unlike Shannon. Apparently he's not. Without further ado, let's get into the video.
ESPN confirming to NBC it's cutting ties with its NFL commentator Shannon Sharpe.
I'm sure everybody's heard the news by now that I will not be returning to ESPN. I really enjoyed my time at ESPN. They did what they felt they needed to do, and I'm at peace with that.
So we just got the biggest breaking news story that we've received since what happened to Joy Taylor. And trust me when I say you are not ready for how deep this rabbit hole goes. Shannon Sharpe just got fired by ESPN. Not suspended, not stepping away, not taking a brief leave of absence because he was currently doing that. He was straight up terminated. And before you click off thinking you know this story, let me tell you something. There's audio recordings that we need to go back into. There's text messages that'll blow your mind and a pattern of behavior that goes back years that nobody's talking about. Now, a lot of you guys think that maybe I have some sort of vendetta against Shannon Sharpe because he was an to me one time when I bumped into him at the gym, but no, this has nothing to do with that, I promise you. Now, real quick before we get to today's video, we're giving away multiple copies of Madden 26 to a subscriber that turns on our notifications on this channel. And now that we got all of that out of the way, let's get to this story because it's a crazy one.
Maybe I need Madden 26.
First things first, we gotta talk about the recent news we just got. Just a few days ago, according to Andrew Marchand at The Athletic, who broke this story, ESPN has officially cut ties with Shannon Sharpe. Barrett Media confirmed this directly with ESPN, though the network isn't really providing any additional comments at the time that I'm recording this video. Now, this isn't just any firing. This is Disney pretty much saying that we're done with one of their biggest stars. And here's what's gonna blow your mind. This happened exactly 12 days after Shannon Sharpe thought he was in the clear. Coincidence? I think not. 12 days after he settled that $50 million lawsuit that we made a video on previously, but I'm gonna break down for you guys again in detail because it is absolutely insane. But before we get there, I need to take you all the way back to January 3rd, 2024. This day was without a doubt one of the greatest days, if not the greatest day of Shannon Sharpe's media career. And that's the same day that this entire story really started. And that's when Cat Williams basically predicted Shannon Sharpe's entire downfall. So picture this, Shannon Sharpe sits down with Cat Williams for what becomes the most watched interview in podcast history. 89 million views and counting on YouTube alone. There's no question that this is the greatest piece of content that Shannon Sharpe has ever recorded, and that's saying something because Shannon Sharpe was a media legend at this point. During that legendary 3-hour conversation, Cat drops this prophetic bomb that'll give you chills when you realize what happened next.
I want to get with a white woman because I was scared, not because I didn't like white women. I think white women are as great as any other women. I have a reason to be scared. Could be Kang the Conqueror. Take your ass down in 2 weekends.
Now at the time,
Ain't a single lie told. I feel the exact same way Cat Williams feel. I think they're great people too. I think they have great qualities just like every other woman does. But the system has set up, I'm with a black woman, so I mean that ain't happening anyway, but the system has set up that it's not ideal for a brother to get with a white woman. It's just not, the system isn't set up that way. It has not been set up that way. Sure, you can do whatever you want to do, But understand, there are different outcomes for different people of different statures, of different ethnic backgrounds, and different skin tones. You choose that battle if you want to. I wasn't going to choose that battle. I don't got to. I'm with a black woman, so it is what it is. But to each his own. Listen, they all great people. I don't discriminate. It's just, and I've recently, with being with her, with my woman now, have came to that conclusion that just won't happen. So, hey, and it won't happen because I'm good where I'm at. But even if it was to go his own way, I'm still not doing it. I mean, I believe in what Cat Williams said for sure.
Everyone thought that Cat was just talking about Diddy and maybe some Hollywood people, but as reports would come out later on, Cat was eerily accurate about multiple celebrities facing consequences in 2024 and 2025. But here's what nobody caught at the time. Shannon Sharpe was sitting right there, probably thinking he was immune.
And this is the thing. Cat Williams wasn't on no future telling, like, magical black magic stuff. Nah, he was doing none of that. This is the thing. When you look at patterns and you look at outcomes enough and you study patterns and when you come to a conclusion on the way the world is, no magic stuff, just looking at it and being observant, you can identify like objective truths like that. You just can't, like, you can't argue, like, this is the way things are, and this is the way things is gonna be. And when you study that enough, you don't need magic. You just need to be right. Because you just studied it enough to understand what's gonna happen. And what people, because you know human behaviors, and that's why psychology is such a big thing, because you study human behaviors, you know the faults people gonna make. And you know exactly where you're gonna fall in. Right when they make that mistake, you knew that they was going to go make. That's all that is. There ain't no magic. It's just theory.
This man had just left Fox Sports, joined ESPN, was making millions of dollars, and had Club Shay Shay exploding. The man thought he was untouchable, and rightfully so. He had no idea he was sitting across from a prophet. Now, I'm about to take you through the exact timeline of how Shannon Sharpe went from the top of the world to unemployed in less than 18 months. And I'm warning you right now, there are 3 separate incidents involving Shannon Sharpe and women that ESPN knew about. 3. And the last one, let's just say the audio recordings were just the cherry on top. Now, for those of you guys that are hardcore NFL fans, and I'm assuming you are if you're watching this channel, you know that Shannon Sharpe wasn't just some random sports analyst. This dude built a Hall of Fame NFL career, and following that, he built a legitimate media empire. After his 14-year NFL career, where he made about $22 million total, he was making more money in media than he ever did catching footballs. His Fox Sports deal was paying him $3 million a year. ESPN was paying similar money, but here's where it gets crazy. His podcast empire was printing money. When Shannon Sharpe and Skip Bayless broke up 2 summers ago, I made videos detailing what Shannon Sharpe's content strategy was, and it was absolutely genius. Launch Club Shay Shay. I couldn't have predicted that he was going to launch Nightcap with Chad Ochocinco, but he did that as well. And then make regular appearances on ESPN's First Take, just so you can remind daily sports viewers of who you are. Use that as a funnel to your podcast, and next thing you know, you're printing money. And that's what Shannon Sharpe did. He followed that to a T. Prior to his recent lawsuit, Shannon Sharpe was in talks for podcast deals exceeding $100 million. And that Cat Williams interview alone made him $6 million from one 3-hour conversation. BET reported that Sharpe was nearing a historic $100 million deal for Club Shay Shay. This man went from catching touchdowns to cashing checks, and he was winning big time until April of 2025, where everything changed forever. But before we get to April, I need to talk about the first incident that nobody really talks about, and that's something that happened at Fox Sports that they kept completely quiet. Now, bear in mind, these are all allegations. Shannon, don't sue me or punch me in the face next time you see me at the gym. So let's get to the story, because this is something that's a little bit more recent. For those of you guys that didn't watch my Joy Taylor video, I'm going to leave a link to it in the end screen so you guys could get the full story about this. But according to the lawsuit that involves Joy Taylor and Skip Bayless trying to hit on Nushin Faraji, while Shannon Sharpe was at Fox Sports, there was an incident with a female production assistant named Nushin Faraji that required a settlement. Front Office Sports broke this story, reporting that Fox and Shannon settled for several $100,000 to keep an alleged choking incident quiet. No lawsuit was filed publicly, no police report, nothing, just a quiet settlement to make it go away. Shannon's team called it a light physical interaction in a playful context, but keep that in the back of your mind because this is a pattern that is about to become very important. Now, this is the same Shannon Sharpe who had that very public beef with Skip Bayless. Remember when Skip tweeted about game implications while DeMar Hamlin was literally fighting for his life on the field? Shannon Sharpe missed the next show in protest.
If you'd like to tweet us your emotions of the night about what happened, please do so. You can tweet us at @undisputed. The last thing we want to do is offend anyone by trying to do what we always do, which is talk about sports. Obviously, my partner Shannon Sharpe is not here today. I look forward to seeing him tomorrow.
And when he came back, they had that heated on-air argument where Shannon said this.
I'm not going to take it down because I stand by what I tweeted.
Skip, let me finish.
All right, okay.
Go ahead.
No, you go. Okay.
I mean, I cannot even get through a monologue without you interrupting me.
Well,
you could have came back. Skip,
well, I thought,
Skip, just let me.
I didn't know you were going to bring up
No,
this.
I didn't want to yesterday to get into a situation where DeMar Hamlin was the issue, not getting to your tweet. That's what I was going to do. But you can't even let me finish my opening monologue without you interrupting.
But now I'm wondering, was Shannon Sharpe's exit from Fox really about Skip Bayless, or did Fox have other reasons that they were okay with letting him walk? Either way, Shannon landed at ESPN and everything seemed perfect until September of 2024 when Shannon Sharpe made one of the most embarrassing mistakes in social media history. So if you somehow missed this or you've been living under a rock, on September 11th, 2024, Shannon Sharpe accidentally went live on Instagram while hooking up with someone.
I don't think that was an accident. I think he was getting all those gay allegations and that he a little sassy or whatever. And I think he was doing that to clear that up. I think that's what he was doing. I don't think it was an accident. You don't go live on accident. That ain't how that happens. I think he was doing that because right at that time, he was getting a whole bunch of he might be on the DL, He was getting that a lot. And notice how after this, I ain't seen that like that no more. People stopped saying that. So I think this was a plot to get people to stop saying that without him actually addressing it straightforward.
3.2 million followers got an audio show that they never asked for, and I would show you the clip, but the last time we did that, we got demonetized, and I want to keep my YouTube channel. So initially, Shannon claimed that he was hacked, but then he came clean on his Nightcap podcast, admitting that he wasn't hacked. It wasn't a prank. It was him being a healthy, active male. For whatever reason, Shannon Sharpe wanted to flex to his 3.2 million followers that he's a healthy, active male. It's kind of weird that he's also saying it wasn't an accident. The internet went absolutely crazy. Cat Williams and Chad Johnson were among the many who had hilarious interactions.
Everybody always talk about date your age. Well, I want to date my wage. I'm finna shut all this ish down tonight. I want to date my wage.
Stay right there.
Where y'all at?
Tyson Att went on stream telling Shannon to put the phone in the next room next time.
Morning. Mainly when people see me, I'm at the airport, I'm at the gym.
Oh, you getting freaky.
Huh?
You know, because of you, I always check to see if my phone is on. I make sure it's locked.
But here's the key thing. ESPN stood by him. They let him keep his job. They were embarrassed, but they didn't take any disciplinary action. And that decision would come back to haunt them in the worst way possible. Now, that Instagram incident should have been a warning sign. When you accidentally broadcast yourself to millions of people, that's the universe telling you to move different. But Shannon thought he was bulletproof. ESPN had his back. His podcasts were crushing. He was about to sign that $100 million deal. He had no idea that in just 7 months, a woman would file a $50 million lawsuit that would end his mainstream media career forever. And the details of this lawsuit are absolutely wild. So on April 21st, 2025, a woman using the pseudonym Jane Doe files a lawsuit against Shannon Sharpe. But this wasn't just any lawsuit. This was a $50 million civil lawsuit accusing him of essay, and battery, an intentional infliction of emotional distress. The woman, later revealed to be OnlyFans model Gabrielle Zuniga, was represented by attorney Tony Busby, the same lawyer who went after Deshaun Watson. According to CNN's reporting, she alleged that Shannon Sharpe violently assaulted her while blatantly ignoring her requests for him to stop in October of 2024 and again in January of 2025. And this is where the story gets absolutely insane, because Shannon Sharpe thought it would be a good idea to release the text messages between him and this OF girl. And honestly, you don't have to be a genius to know what's going on here, and I'm just gonna warn you guys.
Like I said, he played himself at that point, because at that point you tried to doing the same notice how it's the same method. He's trying to expose himself to clear any allegations, right? So just how when he had, and this is just my theory, right? Just how, and this is what I'm talking about with patterns. Just how when people was having this gay allegations with him, that he decided to go live, that it wasn't an accident, and he even said it wasn't an accident, to try to clear that up. He thinking, okay, with this, if I get ahead of it and just put out the text messages, I'm not breaking the law. I'm just showing how freaky I am, but at least it'll clear up that I'm not like some SA type of person. But you played yourself because of the type of company you in. They don't even want you talking like that. So you was better off just not saying nothing and just settling it. She really played chess with you. And you played your king way too early, and she checkmated your ass, unfortunately.
If for whatever reason,
I don't think he did nothing wrong, but public opinion is a big deal when you got a brand as strong as yours.
when you get triggered by explicit text messages, then this is your opportunity to skip ahead
Checkmate.
2 minutes in this video. And bear in mind, these were released by Shannon Sharpe. So Gabriella Zuniga in a text message to Shannon Sharpe on October 7th, 2023. I know you missed this big juicy ass, 25K for each cheek. Now pay attention to what Gabby says to Shannon here. Only if you put that baby gravy in me, then I can do whatever I want. She would then say, I want you to put a big black baby in me, and you better crave it because you're going to be stuck with it for life after you put a big black baby in me. I mean, this is 3 different ways of a woman pretty much saying, hey, I want you to get me pregnant so you can set me up for life. And the fact that Shannon Sharpe was oblivious to that will always just be very funny to me. But it would get even worse from here. For some reason, Shannon's team thought that this...
Y'all help me get one of these. You know, I got a long ways to go, but shoot, at least help me get the 100,000 one. You know what I mean? I got a long ways to go though. So hit the like and subscribe button. Join the Prosper Gang. We're keeping it PG. There's a whole lot of prosperity going on around this month. Let's continue.
would prove that everything was consensual, but Tony Busby had his own evidence. And when I tell you about these audio recordings, you'll understand exactly why Disney had to let go of Shannon Sharpe. Here's where everything changed. Busby released audio recordings of phone calls between Shannon and this woman, and these recordings were absolutely damning. In one recording, you can hear the woman say, "Don't manipulate me." And Shannon's response is not so great.
If you say that one more time, I'm going to choke the shit out of you when I see you.
Well, I don't want to be choked.
Yes, you do. I don't think you have a choice in the matter.
Guys, when you're working for Disney and there's audio of you threatening to choke someone,
I don't care if that's the way y'all played or not, bro. You too rich to be talking like that. Then to somebody that you can't trust, like you talk. Listen, if you got them type of freaky, I ain't gonna tell you how to live your life. But if you talk like that in that type of freaky manner, that's how y'all get down. Do that with somebody you spend decades with, or damn near a decade with, that you can trust. And even then, you gotta still be careful, cause you're too rich for that. You're too rich for that. Matter of fact, after you reach a certain level of success, stop talking like that. I don't care if it turns her off. Go get you a plain Jane that don't care about none of that freaky stuff and just do it the old school way. Because all that ain't gonna get you nowhere. Matter of fact, let me tell you something. I'm trying to build this YouTube channel. Once you get to a certain level of success, you have to sacrifice some stuff. That means there's certain things you could do when you was a regular Joe Blow that you cannot do no more. And this is one of those things. Stop it. Stop it. God dang, Shannon.
It's over. Mickey Mouse does not play that game. But wait, there's more. Remember that Fox Sports settlement I told you about earlier? Now you kind of see a pattern here, right? Shannon tried to fight back. On April 22nd, he released a video calling the whole thing a shakedown.
This is a shakedown. This is all being orchestrated by Tony Busby. You know what happened, and you're trying to manipulate the media. Gabby and Tony Busby want $50 million. What they're getting is sued for defamation.
But here's the part that had the internet roasting him for days. Shannon accidentally posted this statement as a screenshot of a text message from his legal team instead of just copying and pasting it. People were making fun of him for not being able to post a statement correctly while fighting for his own career. And 2 days later, Shannon Sharpe announced that he was temporarily stepping away from ESPN, and he said he'd be back for the NFL preseason. ESPN put out a statement saying that this is a serious situation and we agree with Shannon's decision to step away. But here's what most people don't know. NBC Sports reported that ESPN was ready to pull him off the air anyway. Now, Stephen A. Smith saw the writing on the wall immediately. In May, he told Big Boy TV that he knew Shannon couldn't stay on the air, but was hopeful for a return. But according to Awful Announcing, Stephen A. Smith also explained the reality of working for Disney.
I've been at Disney since October of 2003. I know this place. I know the worldwide leader that is ESPN, who's under the umbrella of Disney. And it wasn't difficult for me to figure out what was transpiring.
Stephen A. knew that Disney has morality clauses that forbid embarrassing the corporation, and with Shannon's history piling up, the writing was on the wall. You fast forward to July 18th, 2025, after 3 months of legal warfare, and the case gets settled. ESPN reported that both sides reached a mutually agreed upon resolution for an undisclosed amount. The lawsuit was dismissed with prejudice, meaning that she can't refile. No criminal charges were filed. Both sides put out a joint statement acknowledging that they had a long-term consensual and tumultuous relationship. For 12 days, Shannon Sharpe probably thought he dodged the bullet. The legal drama was over, he could return to ESPN, get back to that money, and he was probably already planning his comeback episode. But he had no idea what ESPN executives were discussing behind closed doors. Then on July 30th, 2025, around 11:45 a.m. Pacific time, Andrew Marchand drops the bomb. ESPN has cut ties with Shannon Sharpe. Not suspended, not on leave, fired. TMZ would confirm it immediately. The Wrap reported that it was a $50 million settlement that ultimately sealed his fate.
To get started, obviously, I'm sure everybody's heard the news by now that I will not be returning to ESPN. I found out this information a little earlier in the week, and really the only thing that I really ask is like, guys, could we wait until Monday? My brother's going into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. I really want it to be about him, and I want it to be about my family. Coming out will overshadow everything that he's worked his entire life for. And unfortunately, it didn't happen that way. As I profusely apologized to him earlier today, he said, bro, stop apologizing. You don't have to apologize.
Because they thinking, well, everything you've done is overshadowing the stuff that we got going on, and you didn't care. So, and I ain't thinking I think that's messed up. They could have waited. They ain't got to do his brother like that. But, I mean, it's their company. They do what they want to do. And now you feel untouchable because now you got to ask them for permission to do stuff. Probably should have been moving like that from the jump. When you work for Disney. I ain't gonna lie, that's what I don't want to do.
I'm your big bro. I'm gonna love you regardless. I really enjoyed my time at ESPN. It gave me an opportunity to bring my audience that saw me really just grow.
His last social media posts were celebrating his brother Sterling's Hall of Fame induction. Dude was literally posting whiskey bottles and family photos while ESPN was preparing to end his career. And here's what people need to understand. This wasn't just about one lawsuit. This was a pattern that Disney simply couldn't ignore. The Fox Sports choking settlement that required hundreds of thousands of dollars to keep quiet. The Instagram Live incident that embarrassed the brand. The lawsuit with audio recordings of threats, and Shannon completely botching his defense in a case that he should have easily been able to win. ESPN can handle one controversy, but they can't handle a pattern, and they definitely can't handle audio recordings of their talent threatening to choke someone while working for Disney. The Washington Post confirmed that this decision came from the highest levels. This wasn't just some impulsive middle management call. This was Disney saying that we're done and we want nothing to do with this guy. So where does Shannon go from here? His traditional TV career is probably over forever. ESPN fired him. Fox won't take him back after that settlement situation. NBC, CBS, they're not touching this baggage with a 10.
Yeah, Disney is like I don't know. It's the big dog. So it's like when you lose respect from Disney, all the other companies that respect and want to be like Disney not gonna pick you up unless they can find a way to rebrand you in a way to where they can use you as a competitor to Disney. But if they can't see that and they know Disney can't see that, they probably not gonna do it either. Unless you gotta take like a complete opposite, like somebody that's a competitor to Disney, but their brand is represented on something else. Kind of like how Twitch had Kick. And Kick wanted to be the opposite of Twitch, so they took a lot of the talent from Twitch to build them up, but to be on the opposite spectrum of it, kind of same thing. It's kind of like how YouTube is to a lot of other social medias. You know what I mean? Just they got a certain brand they're trying to represent. So, you just got to follow in them thread lines.
Foot pull. But here's the thing, and I'm being dead honest, Shannon probably doesn't need them. His podcast empire is still intact. Club Shay Shay has almost 4 million YouTube subscribers. Nightcap with Chad Johnson still pulls numbers. He owns all of his content. The question is whether advertisers will stick around. Some sponsors already left during the lawsuit, according to industry reporters. That $100 million deal, Awful Announcing reported that it collapsed when the legal drama started. But Shannon could go fully independent. I mean, look at what Dan Le Batard did after ESPN.
Yeah, I mean, he has enough followers to go independent, enough subscribers to go independent, so he definitely can. He's going to this is what Shannon should do. Straight up. Shannon should embody the situation that got him screwed over. That freakiness that he was into, he needs to lean into that. Rebrand yourself in a completely different way. Don't try to go back to the branding you had already, because people gonna keep bringing this up to tackle and knock down that branding you had. Take the branding take the branding that makes you fall and bring yourself into that. Be that freaky dude they were talking about. Lean into that. Cause there's a lot of money on that side too. It ain't the most respect, but it just like kind of like Ray J. Like Ray J leans into that stuff. Now, maybe not that far, but go into that world. There's a lot of money in it.
Look at Pat McAfee. He left traditional media and built his own thing, then got ESPN to pay him $85 million to come back on his terms. Amazon's looking for sports content. Netflix just got into live sports. FanDuel TV still exists. These platforms care more about views than controversy. Speaking of which, Amazon, Netflix, I'm sorry, FanDuel TV, we can't work together. If you guys are looking, my email's in my About Me section, but let's go back to where this started. Cat Williams, the man sat across from Shannon Sharpe on January 3rd and basically predicted his entire downfall. All lies will be exposed, he said. And 18 months later, here we are. So let me know in the comment section down below what you guys think about this story. Do you think
that blade into next year? Shit, playing it all the way into this year. I don't know. Listen, I think Shannon should lean into the freakiness, the freaky nature he has. That will help propel him into a new light. People not gonna like it, and some people might drop off. But he got enough people that like him for him to keep it going. So he'll be all right overall. He's still a millionaire. But TV-wise, like commercial-wise, it's damn near a wrap. Damn near. But maybe he got some special tradition, is some special trick underneath his sleeve that he gonna pull off and make all this right. I don't know. Shout out to Shannon. I think he's a superstar in his own right. But understand, y'all, when y'all reach a certain amount of money, you gotta move different. Just got to. With that being said, make sure y'all hit the like and subscribe button. Join the Prosper Gang. We keeping it PG. There's a whole lot of prosperity going on around this mug. You know what I mean? And remember, there is nothing impossible to they who try. Till next time, I'm out. Deuce.